What's up, everybody? I hope you are fine. I hope you are doing well. And I would appreciate if you can just smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, smash that share button like never before. The reason you need to smash that subscribe button is because in this channel, we give you a different perspective. Even if we talk about things that you are already familiar with, but we give you a unique perspective. And you can use that perspective to help you in your understanding or to help you in many ways. So in this video, we are talking about the performance of EFF during South Africa's 2024 elections. Many people have analyzed the entire performance of different political parties who are contesting when it comes to South Africa's 2024 elections. First of all, I would like to thank all people who voted for economic freedom fighters. I would like to thank all of them. 1.5 million is not a game. 1.5 million of people who decided to vote for economic freedom fighters is not a game, because it's not even easy to get 10,000 followers or 10,000 votes or 100,000 votes. Imagine getting 1.5 million. I respect that and I acknowledge that. So my first reason or my first point when it comes to analyzing the performance of EFF in 2024 elections is MK, because these days it's even difficult to talk about South African politics without mentioning MK party, because MK has pierced the hearts of many people. Umkhonto has pierced the hearts of many people. So it's a fact that many political parties have been affected by Umkhonto Wesizwe or MK. For an example, we can talk about EFF, we can talk about ANC, and many other political parties have been affected, including DA has been affected by Umkhonto Wesizwe. Why EFF? It's because before MK was introduced, many people, whenever they would get mad at ANC, they would instantly run to EFF, because EFF is like that relative you can relate with, that relative who can understand you. That is why sometimes it feels relevant when people visit their aunts, their uncles, and their grandmothers who live in villages, because those people, in most cases, you can relate with. They can understand you even better. So economic freedom fighters is that kind of a relative. So that is why whenever people would get mad at ANC, they would instantly run to EFF. Then MK came in. Then MK is similar to that, those kinds of relatives you can run to, those kinds of relatives who can understand you. So the truth is, it has affected ANC, EFF, and many other political parties. But in general, I can say EFF has performed very well. It's just that they lost maybe approximately 300,000 votes. And it was not easy to compete with the MK party, because MK party had a vision of getting a two-thirds majority. So it was going to be difficult for EFF to compete with such a political party. And again, let me just make another example so that you can understand what am I talking about. Let's just look at Mamelodi Sundowns. Whenever Mamelodi Sundowns plays against Moroka Swallows, it's easy to say Mamelodi Sundowns is going to win. Based on their performance, based on their quality, it's easy to say, obvious, Mamelodi Sundowns is going to win. But it's different when Mamelodi Sundowns is playing against TP Mazembe. That's a different story. In other words, they have to go extra mile in order for them to win that game or to beat TP Mazembe. So same applies to economic freedom fighters. So it was obvious that economic freedom fighters was going to perform better than Action SA, BOSA, and many other political parties. But when it comes to MK, it was a different story, because MK is under the leadership of a strategic leader, the mastermind, the courageous leader, the one who is loved by people. He has built his profile by the name of Jacob Gedleyihlekisa Zuma. So it was not going to be easy. So this man is loved by people. He's charismatic. He's strategic. He's courageous. So he can even engage very well with his followers or with people who love him. So that is why it was a struggle for economic freedom fighters and ANC to compete against MK. So even right now, MK is like, let's look at the VAR to see if there are no mistakes here, there are no errors here, because they had a vision of getting a 2/3 majority. So according to my perception, EFF has performed very, very well. To have 1.5 million people who believe in your vision, who believe in your policies, because it doesn't mean all the time people will believe in your vision. Sometimes people will be like, I like maybe 2 or 3 of his policies or of their policies, but I don't like 1, I don't like 2. So it doesn't mean people will always love everything about you. Same applies to economic freedom fighters. So according to me, they've performed very well. And again, the other reason that I would like to talk about, or another point that I would like to talk about, is open border policy. So open border policy may come as a shock to other people. That is why I'm like, political education is very important. Me personally, I like open border policy. And I know it can benefit many people in Africa only if it can be implemented accordingly. So I would like to say this policy has many challenges. So before it can be implemented, so many things should be dealt with. There are many things that need to be dealt with before this policy can even be implemented. For an example, you have to educate people. You have to educate people about the advantages, the disadvantages, how are they going to benefit, and all those things. Because you should not benefit certain people at the expense of others. So everybody should benefit. Let me just make an example. In other words, all economic hubs of Africa should have a similar strength and similar opportunities, or similar privileges, or similar advantages. For an example, in other words, Harare and Maputo should have similar strength when it comes to resources with Johannesburg, with Cape Town, with Durban, with Lagos, with Abuja, and many other cities in Africa. Same applies to Windhoek, Lusaka, Maseru, Mbabane, and many other areas like Addis Ababa. They should have similar strength as Johannesburg, as Durban, Cape Town, Lagos, and many other cities when it comes to resources, so that there will be no economic hub that will feel pressured and occupied. So that way, this policy is going to work. And another challenge that we are having is that we have many African leaders who are like, we are Pan-Africanists. But at the end of the day, they still behave like puppets of the West, even though they call themselves Pan-Africanists. Because there's something that we need to understand. There's no way this policy can be implemented effectively without engaging with other leaders of Africa or leaders from different countries in Africa. It's impossible. You have to engage them. But as long as we have puppets, it's going to be difficult. So this is another challenge that this open border policy is having. So people should be educated so that at the end of the day, when you disagree with this policy, you understand everything to the fullest. So I believe that the political parties should continue educating people about the strategies to unite Africa, open border policy, because if people understand a policy and understand the advantages and disadvantages, then they are more than likely to agree with you based on the fact that you explained everything to them. Yes, there are people right now who understand this open border policy, but there are those who are like, we're just a bit skeptic. So they need to be educated so that at the end of the day, if they say we disagree, they disagree because they fully understand what is going on. So the most important thing is education. You need to educate people because there are things that can shock people. There are things that can shock people. I remember telling someone that most of the people here in Southern Africa are the descendants of King Pharaoh in the Bible. And some people were shocked. Some people were like, man, it's impossible. You are lying. Even like pastors were like, man, you are possessed. It's because that knowledge was too much for them. So I would like to say thank you very much for watching this video. And again, I would like to say thank you to all people who voted for economic freedom fighters, because to see MK and the EFF talk there, that's a good thing, because at the end of the day, we can say there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And I would appreciate if you can smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, smash that share button like never before.